Hey everyone, this is Sandip back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to continue our Java Bootcamp series. In today's video, I'm going to talk about taking user input from users using the scanner class. So until now, we have created some Java programs, right? And we have written those Java programs using where we have taken the input directly from the code. I can give you the example maybe. So I need to go back to my Visual Studio Code, and probably I'll open a folder where I need to check first of all where that folder is. So I think it's inside here, and probably inside math operators. So let me open this folder. And if I open this file, right, simple interest calculator.java, you see here, right, we have calculated the simple interest based on some of the input. Like we need the principal amount, we need the rate of interest, we need the tenure, number of years, right? So all of these things are, I've hard coded inside my code. I have to, if I want to change the principal amount, I have to change it here. Then again, I have to compile my code and then run it. Now we're going to see how I can take these values as input from the user, and we can do that in Java using something called a scanner class. So I'm going to talk about the scanner methods like next line, next double, next integer. Then we will see scanner exception handling. I'm not going to cover exception handling. There will be a separate video for that, but I'll show you if user doesn't enter the right values, doesn't enter the expected values, basically. I'm going to talk about scanner close method, and all of this we're going to learn through a challenge or through a practical example called we're going to make the simple interest calculator again based on the user input. So let's jump into the video. First of all, I'm going to create a folder inside my Java Bootcamp. I'll give this folder a name. You also follow along with me. You also code along with me. So this will be our scanner. And I'm going to open this folder inside my Visual Studio Code. Okay, I got it, scanner. And right now you see here, right, it is empty. Voila, it's taking a lot of time. Okay, so I'm going to create a new class here. I'm going to give it the name of simple interest. Simple interest dot Java, because we're going to make a simple interest calculator, which will be more of a, I think my laptop is behaving really slow. Anyways, so it hasn't created any class. So I'm going to create the class by myself. So I'm going to say public class, and I'm going to give it a name of simple interest. And we start with creating a main method, right? Somehow it's not giving me the hint also here. I'll save it first and I'll try again. Main, it's not giving me any hint actually. Opening Java projects, check details. Okay, main. Finally got it. Okay. So now it has become really slow. I need to check why. Maybe let's continue. Okay. So I've covered all of these topics, how to create a class, how to write the main method inside your Java class, right? This is the main entry point. Now we are more interested in taking the input from the user. So in case of a simple interest calculator, if I go back to my slides, I'm in notes. For calculating the simple interest, right, we need three different values. We need a principal amount, right? That's the amount you want to borrow from the bank, right? The rate of interest and the tenure. I mean, how many years you want to take that loan. So based on that, there is a formula where we multiply principal with rate of interest and time, and we divide it by 100. We get the total interest value, right? A simple interest value. So pretty easy, right? So I'm going to this time, instead of creating all those variables and keeping inside here, actually, I'm going to take those values. I mean, the principal value and the interest value and the tenure value from the user. So for that purpose, to take the input from the user, we use something called a scanner class, which resides inside java.util package. So I'm going to create a scanner first. So scanner, this is the name of the class scanner. And I'm going to create a scanner object out of it. And I'll say new scanner. And this we need to pass system.out, sorry, system.in as an input. So now if I save this, it should import the scanner class bit, but if it hasn't imported, I'm going to do it by myself. So to use the scanner, basically we need to import it, and the scanner actually reside inside java.utils package. So I'm going to say java.util.scanner. So this is the class I need from java.util package scanner so that I can use the scanner class. Now scanner helps me, stop the terminal for the user input, right? And there are some methods which I'm going to use. So let's start with a very good question. Maybe we'll ask the user his name, probably his or her name. So for that we use system.out.sout only. So sout system.out.println, and I'm going to ask user what's okay. So what's your name? Could be probably a good question for a program to start with. And now I want to grab that name from the user, right? So now say suppose I run this program, right? It's going to show that question and it will get out of the terminal. So say suppose, I'm going to open a terminal now. And I'm going to first of all compile this code. So I'll say Java C, and then I'm going to say simple interest dot Java. It's compiling. Okay, I see the class created. Now we can run this program simple. So I can just press the tab. I should get the class name. So you see here, right? What's your name? It has asked and then it got out of the terminal. So we want to stop, right? We want to stop user at the terminal so that user will get the opportunity to give some input. To do that, I'm going to do something called, I'm going to use my scanner and I'm going to use its function called next line. So basically, when we ask what's your name, it's going to return a string as an input, right? I want string to be input by the user. So to collect that string, I'm saying scanner.nextLine. So now if I run my program, I'll show you. First of all, we need to compile it. And then I'm going to run it. So now you see the program that has stopped at the terminal, right? Now it's asking for the input. So I can enter my name here, right? And now if I press enter, the program is coming out of the terminal. Now this name, this Sandip, which I have entered here, now I can grab this value. This scanner.next line is going to read this value and it's going to return it back from this function. Now I can read it, right? So I can write, say, I can create a variable, a string variable here, string name, okay? And inside that I can have that scanner.next line where, I can have this name. Now I'm going to print this name, right? So I'm going to use s out. And let's print that name. So we are going to just give welcome to the user probably. So welcome and space. And I'm going to use the concatenation and I'm going to concatenate name with the welcome string. Now let's compile again. And let's run. Now it's asking for the name. I'm going to input the name and voila. You see that? Welcome Sandeep. So whatever I have entered here, it's returning that particular value. So you can see, right, this is pretty simple. We can use the scanner class. We can ask for the question using a normal sysout, system.out.println, and we can stop the terminal at particular place and we can grab those values using the scanner function, like I'm using the next line function here, but there are other methods. So now let's jump into a simple interest calculator where we are going to ask for some of the values from the user, like the loan amount, that is principal amount, the interest rate, and the tenure, right? And then we are going to calculate the simple interest, and we will tell the user, so that user can always use that application, use this application as an interactive application. So okay, so I'm going to start. So let's have a sys out where I'm going to ask for enter the enter the principal amount, right? So principal, I'm making mistakes in my spellings. Okay, enter the principal, and I'm going to grab this value again using the scanner. So I'm going to say scanner dot. Now this principal amount will be a number, right? And there are two different types of number data types related to number in Java. And I think I should highlight that, right? I'm creating all of these nodes. If you see here, right, Java cheat sheet. So here I can refer which are the different type of variables, and I'm going to post this link in the description. You can get it. So Java has 6 main data types. So we have integer for whole number, we have long for large whole number, and we have double for decimal number. And as I said, for any mathematical calculation, you should use double. Now to calculate the simple interest, it's a mathematical operation. We are going to use double. So I'm going to use scanner.next double. So this is a method we have to grab the double value. So I'm going to grab this principal amount as a double value, and I'm going to store it inside double only, right? So double, and I'm going to name that variable as principal. Okay, so now this is how we are going to collect the principal value from the user, and I'm going to show you that. So let's s out, system out this value now, principal. I'm just going to print it for now. So let's run it. So I'm going to clear my console first. Let's compile our program. I'm using the up arrow key to go back to the previous command. This is a good tip. I mean, you always don't go and type the entire command. You can use the up arrow keys again and run the program. Okay, I'm going to enter my name, and now it's asking for the principal, right? So welcome Sandip. It has welcome B, right? Then it's asking for the principal, the next question. Now I can enter the value here. Maybe I'll go for 1000 amount of load, and I see that it's printing that 1000 principal here. Now let's see what happens if I don't enter the number values, maybe intentionally, if I enter the wrong values, what's going to happen? So I'm going to run this program again. So let me see. Java C. Sorry, I don't need to compile actually. I just need to run. So I'm going to run again. And this time I'm going to give the name. And this time I'm going to enter like 1000 as a string. See that? So it's throwing me an exception, input mismatch exception. So at least you are getting an idea that this is not expecting a string. This is expecting a number value, and principal is a number value, right? So user will know, okay, it's asking for a number because we are saying we are scanning the next double value, not the string value, right? And we are going to learn about exception handling in a separate video. I don't want to get into the topic of exception handling in this video. So I just want to show you, if user enter a wrong value, the program is not going to run. And we should close the scanner. That's really important. I think I have mentioned here, we should use the scanner.close method to close the scanner always. So at the end, so I'm going to close my scanner for now, because the reason is when we get the exception, or maybe if the program stops running in between, the program might run into memory leak issues. So it's always good to close the scanner. Once you create it, directly close it and keep your code between before the close statement. Okay, so I think I'm going to remove this principal. Now again, I'm going to copy this. Now we need two more values, right? So I'm going to copy this, enter rate of interest. So I'm going to say enter the rate of, what am I doing? Interest. Okay, so enter rate of interest or interest rate, whatever you can write. Actually, I'm going to write interest rate. That would be good. Rate. Okay. Now I'm going to grab this value. Again, this rate of interest is going to be a double value. So again, I'm going to use scanner dot next double. Okay. And I'm going to grab this value, and I'm going to store inside a double variable only. So this will be our rate of interest, right? So I'm going to give it a name of rate of interest. Okay. this is how it's going to look, rate of interest. We need third value. So again, I'm going to copy this out from here. So let's grab this. I need another value which is for tenure. So I'm going to ask for the tenure to the user. So I'll say enter tenure. Okay. And I'm going to grab that value. Again, it is going to be a number. So you're going to use double for this. So I'm going to say it time. And we're going to use scanner dot next double again. I can use next integer also for time, but sometimes, the interest rate could be 7.5, 6.5, 6.2. It depends. 6.25 also, right? And we can use next integer, but I'm going with a double value here. So now I have I'm going to grab all of these three values from the user. I'll have the principal, I'll have the rate of interest, I'll have the time. The next thing is we need to do the calculation of our simple interest. And the formula is really simple, right? So I'm going to use double simple interest. I'm going to name simple interest. Okay. And the formula is brackets. I'm going to use principal. Then I'm going to multiply my principal with, okay, with rate of interest. And then I'm going to multiply that with time, right? And entire thing we're going to divide with 100. So this is going to return me the simple interest. And now I'm going to use this simple interest and I'm going to tell the user, okay, so I'm going to form some string, using string concatenation. So let's use the s out. And I'm going to say, hey, for right principal. So I'm going to recap whatever user has entered for principal of, say, I'm going to use principal here. Then again, I'm going to use plus and I'm going to press enter. And this time again for principal of principal, then I'm going to say space at the interest rate of space, and I'm going to say rate of interest, right? Rate of interest. Then I'm going to add percent here for tenure. Okay. Off again, I'm going to use off again plus enter. And here I'm going to say time. Sorry, I need to add time basically for tenure of time, then plus I'm going to say years because tenure will be in years, and I'm going to put s in brackets. You will pay rupees, then space, and so basically I'm using the existing values only and for forming a readable statement for the user, readable English statement for the user, simple interest, and I'm going to say of interest. I'm just going to say interest. See that? So now I'm going to run this and we'll see the output possibly if the program doesn't have any error. So I'm going to clear my console now. And first of all, we need to compile. So I'm going to use Java C. And now let's run it. It's taking time. Okay, Java simple interest. What's your name? My name is Sandip. Okay, enter the principal. Now you see here one problem, right? We don't have the spaces, and I'm going to correct that. So let's go with 1,000. Okay, the interest rate I'll go with 5%. 10-year, maybe I'll go for 1 year. See that? For principal of 1,000 at the interest rate of 5%, for 10-year of 1 year, you will pay 50 rupees, rupees 50 of interest. Now the spelling of interest is wrong here. So let me correct that. I just need to add E here. Okay, interest. And one more thing, right? We don't, this is looking cluttered, right? This is not looking clean. After Sandeep, welcome Sandeep. We should have all of these questions, separated into new line. And we can do that. We can do that using a special character called new line character. So I'm just having a new line here. So once I said welcome name, it's going to have a new line, then enter the principal. I'm going to put new line here also. So enter interest rate. I'm going to put new line here also. And finally, I'm going to have one more new line here. I'm going to save. Let's clear our program. Once again, I'm going to use Java C, compile it. And finally, for the last time, I'm going to run my simple interest. What's your name, Sandip? Okay, see that? The space? It's looking clean now. I'll go for 2000 this time. And maybe the interest rate will be like 10%. And 10 year, maybe I'll go for 5 years. So you see that for principal of 2000 at interest rate 10 for 10 year or 5 years, you'll pay 1000 for the interest. Now I can run this program again with the different inputs. I'm going to clear. See, I'm not compiling the program. I'm just running the program, right? So this is the best part of scanner, right? You don't need to compile your program because you're not changing the values inside the program. So this time maybe I'll go with some other name. Maybe I'll go with p who. Okay. Then enter the principal. Let's go with 500 this time. Rate of interest will I go with 1%. 10 year I'll go for 1 year. See that you're going to pay 5 of interest. So you can see, right, how useful this scanner class is, right? I mean, you just need to create the scanner object and you just use your normal usual system out.println and ask for the questions. Grab the values from the user using next line, next double, or there is a next integer function also. And you can do the calculation. You can give that output to the user in a more readable manner. So I think I would suggest, go ahead and use this scanner class, create some more programs by yourself. First of all, try the simple interest program. Then maybe you can create more programs, like maybe you can create a survey app, uh, maybe some kind of calorie counter app, and there are different like budget app, different kind of app or different kind of simple programs you can create using the scanner class, where you're going to take the input from the user and all the variables, right? You know how to do the mathematics using those variables. I have already covered all of these topics, and these are all the notes which you can we can go, and this is basically a cheat sheet where you can quickly go and check, okay, how to get started with Java, how to create variables in Java, what are the different types of variables in Java, what are the math operators in Java, what is a scanner class. I'm creating all of these notes for you, and you can contribute to these notes. You can fork my repository and do the contribution and raise a PR. If I like it, I will merge it. You can find out my mistakes here and we can correct all of these mistakes. Everything is like open source. Nowadays, education is open source, free. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Hopefully, I've covered the scanner. So quickly recap, how to take input from the user using scanner class. We can use the next line, next double, next integer method. There are other methods also which you can explore by googling, right? Scanner exception handling scanner. I mean, if user has entered wrong value, it's going to throw an exception. We can close the scanner using the close method, and we have created a very nice, simple, interactive, simple interest calculator using Java and scanner class. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to come back with the next video, new topic, Java and other topics also. Until then, you take care. Goodbye and thanks for watching.